the jungles of Vietnam. In the jungles of Vietnam, death did not always arrive with the sound of gunfire. Sometimes it waited in silence beneath your next step. During the Vietnam War, the Viet Cong transformed the land itself into a weapon. They did not rely on overwhelming firepower. They relied on fear, patience, and traps so simple, so cruel, that soldiers often never saw their killer. Tonight, we descend into the hidden machinery of that terror, not the battles you've seen in documentaries, but the deaths that came without warning. One of the most feared traps in Vietnam was also one of the simplest: a hole in the ground, covered with leaves. At the bottom, sharpened bamboo spikes. These were Punji pits. The spikes were often coated with human waste, decaying matter, or poisonous sap, not to kill instantly, but to ensure infection. If a soldier survived the fall, the wound itself became a slow, festering threat. Gangrene, blood poisoning, amputation, sometimes death weeks later. One Marine in 1968 stepped into what looked like solid ground. His foot punched straight through his boot and into bamboo. He collapsed, screaming as his unit tried to secure the area under fire. He survived the trap. Many others did not. Deeper pits existed too, 6 to 10 feet deep, lined completely with sharpened spikes. These were called tiger traps. A soldier who fell into one would be impaled through the legs, abdomen, or chest. Rescue was slow. Extraction took hours in hostile terrain. Bleeding was heavy. Survival was not guaranteed. A South Vietnamese patrol once watched a fellow soldier disappear into a tiger trap mid-movement. By the time a helicopter arrived, he was already dead at the bottom. Not all traps waited beneath the ground. Some attacked from the side. A bent bamboo stalk was held under extreme tension. Attached to it was a metal hook or sharpened spike. A thin wire stretched across a trail acted as the trigger. When tripped, the bamboo snapped forward like a spring-loaded spear. Legs were torn open, groins destroyed, faces slashed. One American soldier in 1966 triggered such a trap and felt a violent impact against his calf. The hook embedded deep into the muscle. He dropped instantly and had to be carried out under fire. In sloped jungle terrain, the Viet Cong built sliding traps. A smooth chute was carved into the earth and covered with leaves. At the bottom waited a pit filled with spikes. A wire at the top ensured a loss of balance. Once triggered, the victim slid helplessly forward. One South Vietnamese officer witnessed a soldier vanish down such a slope in seconds. When they reached the bottom, there was only blood and bamboo. Some traps were not meant to kill quickly. They were meant to capture. Heavily camouflaged nets were rigged high into the trees with rope tension systems. When triggered, the net snapped upward, lifting the soldier into the air. Victims were left hanging upside down, tangled, helpless, and completely exposed. One American sergeant was captured this way in full view of his squad. For several seconds, they believed he had been killed instantly. The trap had something else planned. A hand grenade placed inside a rusted tin can. The pin held in place by a rubber band. Step on the can, and the rubber band snapped the pin free. There was no delay. These traps were scattered randomly across trails, camps, and jungle clearings. Soldiers learned to fear bottles, cans, any object that did not belong to the earth. Vietnam turned ordinary trash into an execution device. Not every mine was meant to kill. Some were designed to cripple. Toe poppers were buried shallow beneath trails. Small, difficult to detect, and devastating. When triggered, they shattered bones in the foot and ankle. A soldier hit by a toe popper often survived, but he never fought again. Some mines killed in a more calculated way. The Bouncing Betty mine did not explode underground. It launched itself into the air first. Then it detonated at waist height. The shrapnel tore through bodies horizontally. Internal organs were shredded. Survival was rare. You did not step on death. You woke it. The Viet Cong also weaponized living creatures. Venomous snakes were placed inside packs, sleeping areas, and tunnel entrances. Scorpions were sealed into bamboo containers and used in ambush traps. One Marine awoke to a sharp bite on his arm. Within minutes, his muscles failed and his heart slowed. He survived due to immediate medical extraction. Others did not. The jungle itself became the executioner. Sometimes the traps did not explode or strike. They waited. Retreated camps were left stocked with rice and water, poisoned. Entire units collapsed with violent illness. Organ failure followed. Some soldiers never recovered. Others died without ever knowing what had been placed into their food. Even survival itself became a gamble. And beneath all of this existed the tunnels. Over 250 kilometers of underground passageways, hospitals, armories, living quarters, all hidden beneath villages and jungle. The tunnel rats were young soldiers sent inside with pistols and flashlights. Many never came back out. Tripwires, snakes, grenades, enemy fighters waiting in silence inches away. One tunnel rat later said, "You never knew if the next turn was empty or your grave." The traps did more than destroy bodies. They destroyed nerves. Every step became a calculation. Every shadow became a threat. Every movement carried consequence. Veterans later said they feared the ground more than the enemy. The jungle did not just surround them. It hunted them. The Vietnam War was not only fought with rifles and bombs. It was fought with patience, terror, infection, and invisible death. Thousands were maimed, thousands more survived, but were never truly whole again. And even today, the land still holds unexploded ghosts beneath its soil. The war ended. The traps did not.